Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first ever partner webinar. We got a few people still joining us, so we're just going to give it just a minute, and we'll get started in a minute. Alrighty, well, we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for spending part of your day with us today. As many of you know, my name is Joe Oddie. I'm the Director of Partner Strategies here at Eagleview. And we're here to, I'm here with Brianna Zumoff. And we're here to do our first ever partner webinar. So we're real excited for you to join us on our maiden voyage here. The whole goal of today is to talk a little bit about what's going on with Eagleview and what are some of the new and exciting things that we have going on here that will affect you as partners, because we serve a lot of the same government clients. So we want to give you an update here and share some exciting news with this. A couple of housekeeping things. We have Tim Horak, who is our Director of Marketing. He's kind of manning the chat. So if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to enter those questions into the chat. Brianna is going to be monitoring that as well. And excuse me, we will be having a Q&A session at the end here. So we'll go ahead and dive right into it. So just a real quick introduction here. As many of you know, I'm sure if you're on this call, we've spoken at some point in the past, but again, I'm the Director of Partner Strategies here. I've been at the company now for over 12 years, based out of Denver. And I've been in a variety of roles, but running the partner organization since 2021. And if I had to give you one fun nerdy fact, is I actually used to be a zookeeper back in the day, because I came to this company not even knowing what GIS was or aerial imagery or anything like that. So it's been quite a journey since then. So let me go ahead and introduce Brianna. Go ahead, Brianna.
Hi, everyone. I am Partner Strategy Manager for Government BU here at Eagleview. I work with Joe. I've been with Eagleview about 3 years, since April. So just celebrated my 3rd anniversary, having initially served in capacity as a regional technical manager in the Southwest. And prior to joining Eagleview, I was working as a GIS specialist for a civil engineering firm out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Various capacities and roles there. And I have a background in GIS, having earned a master's from the University of Iowa, and I am currently based in San Diego. Nice to meet you all. I have a lot of familiar faces here on the call.
Great. Well, and just so you guys know, this is being recorded. So if you have any colleagues that would like to view this webinar afterwards, we will make this recording available. We got about, I think the whole thing is an hour, but it certainly will not take that long. We probably have maybe 30 minutes of content, and then we'll open it up for questions. Okay, so certainly willing to keep this very free flowing. And if you have questions, please enter them in the chat as we go here. But we want to talk, we did some introductions. We have some big news that many of you may know already, but we want to reiterate the fact of a new platform that's coming that's going to affect the Eagleview integrations that you may have into your various software applications. We want to really also highlight some of the great work our teams have been doing around 1-inch imagery capture. We'll explain, what 1-inch means if you're not familiar with resolution. And as we go along in all these different topics, I want you to keep in mind point 4 is that we're going to be talking about a brand new program called our Eagleview Referral Program. And in a nutshell, we want to incentivize and reward our partners for spreading the news of Eagleview. We certainly realize that there are a lot of other providers out there that do similar things to what we do, and by no means are we asking you to only talk about us. However, we want to inform our partners and let them know of all the great work we're doing. And when you get questions from customers that say, I'm kind of looking for an aerial imagery provider, or is there anybody you would recommend? We want to educate you folks just to be up to speed on all we're doing. And we'll go through the program and how that will incentivize and reward you all for spreading that word if they materialize into a sale. So we'll get into that. We're going to do a demo of our new API. We'll get into a brand new partner agreement that many of you have now. We'll talk about the perks of that, and then we'll get into some Q&A. So let's get into some updates here. So the biggest thing we need to impart on all of you in this webinar is the availability of a brand new platform that we've rolled out over the last few years that we call Eagleview Cloud. Our previous platform that's still in use today is called Connect, and many of you may be familiar with the Connect platform. Many of you have integrations built into your platform on our Connect platform. But we're migrating to this new and better platform for a variety of reasons. It just needs a technical update. We have new features and functionality that we're going to roll out, and it's just time to kind of retire the old one. So as you can see in the bullet there, and the second bullet, it is scheduled to be deprecated or sunset the summer of 2026. And what that includes is some of the APIs that you may have already embedded. So what does this actually mean for you guys? So part of our new platform is this new API built on JavaScript 4.x framework called Eagleview Embedded Explorer, or as we are referring to it internally for ease is E3. So it is very similar in functionality. Many of you do have our what we called IPA, or that was our integrated pictometry application built into your various software applications. Well, that was part of our Connect platform. So now Embedded Explorer is part of our new Eagleview Cloud platform. A couple of benefits there of this new API is not only on the new platform that has new tools and functionality, but it points to an all new imagery warehouse that is much more faster in the way that it portrays imagery. It has the ability to be deployed in a true SaaS environment. That was one limitation to the IPA, in that you had to, store a local file, and it really didn't work too well in that SaaS environment. So the new one is fully compatible with that. There's new features such as a thumbnail gallery, where you can easily see all the available images from the various cardinal directions. It has dynamic measuring. As you're measuring something on the image, you'll see like a running meter that shows the distance of lines. It has predictive search, so that when you want to search for things that may not just be a physical address or something more general, like something you might do into Google, it's going to have that functionality. And it, for those of you in the public safety sphere, it has the ability to map the Z value of an incoming wireless call to plot it on an oblique image above the ground. So imagine a multi-story building or an interchange of highways where there's multiple levels of roads. Once you get that call from 911 that comes in, it's going to be able to plot a point on the side of that oblique image to show the call taker or dispatcher, where that call is coming from. So, and that may have utility in other disciplines as well, but that's kind of an exciting new feature there. Brianna and I have been working over the last year or two to license all of our partners for this new API that will need to be swapped out for the ones you have in place today. So what you want to do is keep in mind that timeline of summer 26, because that's when we're attempting to shut down our Connect platform. We don't have a specific date yet. That information will be forthcoming, but we want to at least say that time frame is when we want to make sure that you have a new partnership agreement in place that licenses you for these new APIs, which Brianna is going to touch on in a moment. And we want to make sure that development work gets built into your sprints and engineering schedules, so that by the time summer of 26 rolls around, you're ready to go. And we're not just, making plans to start this dev work with a couple months to go. So we're trying to give folks enough advanced warning that this is coming down the pike here. And if you have any questions about how to get this in place, you can certainly reach out to Brianna or myself, and we'll be happy to go over that, the details there of that. So I'm going to pass it over to Brianna real quick. I'm going to stop sharing and allow her to share her screen. And we're just going to give you a quick demo of what the Embedded Explorer looks like. And so go ahead, Brianna.
All right, hopefully it's loaded at this point.
Yep, you can see it.
Perfect. So this is Eagleview Cloud, as Joe mentioned. This is our new platform that will be replacing eventually our existing Connect platform. It's an updated interface. It should look fresh and new, still familiar, but still a new interface here, and has a modern backend design as well. The expanded capabilities, including hosted and viewing 3D mesh, is an added capability. It also has some additional insights and analytics baked into it as well. And then also an enhanced functionality for GIS layers and management and API credentials on the back end. So for those of you who are familiar with Connect, there's probably the familiar tools here: measurement, distance, slope. We have annotation, we have our GIS layers, and then we also have our location and image info. So this provides some additional context to what you're actually viewing and the source imagery. The imagery that you're seeing here is Nashville. It's captured here in 2025 at 1-inch resolution. You'll notice that our compass is switched down to the corner here, and it is allowed for dynamic panning. So it's a much faster interface than the existing Connect platform, and should be able to function much better. But what you're viewing is the Topgolf, and the reason I have this pulled up is because it is a 1-inch image. And if we zoom in here, you can actually see the golf balls on the course or the driving range here. Now, if we compare that to, say, the imagery from 2023, which is a 3-inch image, we'll let this load here for a second. You'll notice that it definitely is a higher resolution image on the left than the right. And Joe will go into a little bit more detail on why the 1-inch imagery matters and how you could leverage that when talking to any of our mutual customers. So built off of this platform, as Joe mentioned, is our new Eagleview Embedded Explorer API, or E3. So we can jump over to there. This is a fairly new rollout. This is actually our first public example that we're able to show from City of Philadelphia. This is our new oblique image here in the bottom right-hand corner. It syncs with the image pane on the top using that lat long, and is able to geolocate to be able to pull open that imagery, much as similar to API functionality from IPA previously. Since this one is public facing, it is only for visualization purposes, but any of those internal facing APIs that you build out will have those tools and analytics available to you. It also has the single image gallery tab here for enhanced viewing and sorting through imagery. And then it also, something to keep in mind, as we switch over to our new API with E3, we are also transitioning our customers. So, this is a huge undertaking, and it means transferring any of their existing GIS layers from our old platform to our new platform. So if a customer comes to you asking about layers, we just ask you to work with us and them to coordinate that transfer. We can work with them on getting those GIS layers over onto the new platform, but that may be a question that comes up that you may get asked as we make this transition. So we did touch upon 1-inch imagery that I just showed you, but I'm going to pass it back to Joe. He's actually going to go a little bit more in depth on what that actually means for you as partners. I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this new platform is real exciting. It's very intuitive, and we're seeing a lot of good feedback from our customers on both their browser-based app and the embedded Explorer. So let's talk about 1-inch imagery a little bit. This is really Eagleview's main focus over the last year or two. We're very, very proud of this because it's an unparalleled capability that no one else really has at scale. I mean, anybody could capture 1-inch imagery or better simply by flying a plane closer to the ground. But what really differentiates us is the technology that we have with our new sensors that allows us to fly at a quite a high altitude, upwards of 6,000 to 8,000 feet in the air, and still capture 1-inch resolution imagery. And that allows us to scale. So not only can we capture a very high resolution image over a town or a city, but we can capture that over an entire county. Thousands of square miles or more can be captured using our new sensors. So before we get into that, let's just kind of level set on what that means. What does 1-inch really mean? And some of you may know this, and I apologize if it's redundant for you, but it's always a good refresher. You'll hear that term that we throw around quite a bit called GSD, and that stands for ground sampling distance. And what it is it has to do with a pixel. So if you think about any photograph, is comprised of thousands and thousands of pixels. And a pixel is just a simple square of color, and every pixel can only be defined as one color. So if you were to take those pixels that were adjacent and measure the distance between the centroid, or the middle of both of those pixels, the distance there, how it relates to space on the ground, is the ground sampling distance. So for a 6-inch image, the distance between two pixels represents 6 inches on the ground. 3 inches on the ground, and then down to 1 inch. That's going to be 1 inch on the ground. Where essentially, the lower that number goes, the more pixel density you have, the more clarity you're going to have in your image. So if we hop in the Wayback Machine, if we think about not all that long ago, this is the type of imagery that folks were used to. And if you've been around geospatial for a long time, you may see something like that, remember something like this, and remember at the time this was pretty cool. And it's only 30-some years ago, 31 years ago. And as we move on in time, you can kind of see how imagery got better. We're still in black and white by the late 90s. And then, it came around where we finally got color, and that was the bee's knees. That was one of the coolest things. But still, even today, in our eyes today, when we look at something like this, it's hard to imagine this could be very functional in daily GIS or any kind of government work. So this is a 2-meter GSD, so very, very coarse. And as we kind of go through time and as technology has improved, you can see that we're getting more pixels in the same spot. Think back to that diagram where now we're getting more clear imagery. And we used to offer 12-inch, we used to offer 9-inch. Those are both things that we do not even offer anymore. 6 is the worst that we do offer these days. So again, 6 inches between pixels. And even that's going to be outdated very, very soon, because we can now have the ability with these new sensors to capture 4, 2, and then down to what we can currently do today with 1-inch resolution imagery. So this is the type of imagery that you can expect, or your customers can expect. And again, I want you to keep this in mind as we go through this, because with this referral program that we're about to talk about, as you educate your partners, your customers on this availability, then this is something that you guys could be, compensated for sending us these leads. So from a diagram standpoint, if you think to a 12-inch or a 1-foot pixel, and how that corresponds to the different resolutions as we go, going from 12 to 6 is not 2 times better; it's 4 times better. Going from 3 to 1 is not 3 times better; it's 9 times better. And if you think about from like 12-inch all the way down to 1, that's 144 times better resolution. So it's exponential. As you add more pixels and as you get that smaller GSD, that's going to really, really make a very dense pixel set, which is going to give you better resolution. So to give you a little bit of a real-world comparison, for those of you who are in tax assessment software, for those of you that are in public works, you may be familiar with the level of imagery here. This is 3-inch GSD, or 7.5 centimeter. And that's still pretty good. Like, this was the gold standard for a very long time. But as we take the same property and look at it in 1-inch, you can see the clarity. I mean, imagine the things you can do with imagery like this. Imagine what folks can start to do as AI progresses, and the type of insights that you can extract from imagery when you have this level of quality. You can see, contact points. You can see machinery and equipment. You can understand the type of shingles used on a roof. You can see, you can accurately measure those small windows that you can see on the back of a house. It opens up a tremendous amount of use cases by having this level of imagery. And when you see it side by side, you can clearly understand, the difference. One unfortunate thing about this home was that this sits in Omaha. We're just outside of Omaha. And it was affected by the deadly tornadoes that ran through there a year or two ago. And this is actually the same image, the same house in the bottom left corner. Unfortunately, it was demolished during that devastating tornado that ripped through there. And I wanted to show this slide simply to highlight, just to remind everyone that all of our customers have what's called a DRP clause in their contract. And what that means is DRP stands for Disaster Response Program. And when a disaster of a certain magnitude hits, so there's tornadoes of a certain EF value, hurricanes of a certain category, earthquakes of a certain Richter scale rating, we will, if they're an existing Eagleview customer, we will go back and fly their up to 200 square miles at no additional cost. So that is a big value add that we've had for a long time. One of the first companies to do this, and it's been very, very beneficial for our customers to recover from these types of storms that are so destructive. And unfortunately, with the way climate is changing constantly, these are just going to happen more and more. So we want you guys to be aware, if you weren't already, that if a disaster strikes your customer base, there's a very high chance that we're going to be capturing imagery following that storm. We have teams that are monitoring these. Things like hurricanes we can predict, they're on their way, and we can stage planes. But because we have over 100 planes in our fleet, we can respond quickly to those things that pop up, like tornadoes that may not have a lot of advance warning, that we can respond to and capture imagery, and then make it available to our customers through our cloud platform within a day or two, so that can really help them with their recovery process. So just to give a couple examples of 1-inch imagery, I mean, this is a stunning image as it is. But what's great about this is that when you zoom in on this house here, you're not losing that fidelity. You're still maintaining that very high level of resolution. So if I'm in tax assessment, I can clearly see that back room, is not a garage or anything, but maybe a screened-in porch. I can see that there's an AC unit outside. I can see the types of shingles and the vents that are on the roof. It really opens up again a lot of ability to just glean information from these images. This is the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. If you see this from above, real clean, crisp image. But as we dive into this bottom corner here, you can see very clearly all the assets that are out there. So think about asset management. If you're able to see these things from an image, it's going to help you manage all of your assets in the field. And then also to apply AI in the future to do a lot of these things that were done manually now by computer vision. So really, really, again, opens up these use cases. Another one that we hear a lot about is looking for sign inventory. As you're looking around an area, it's very cumbersome to go out and manage all the signs that might be in a jurisdiction. But having imagery of this quality allows you to see them very, very clearly. You can see that there are 2 signs there. You can tell which ones they are, and that can again help in that management of those assets. Same thing with road conditions. Jurisdictions are constantly having to monitor and maintain and fix the roads that are out there. So it's obviously they don't obviously have the resources to fix everything all at once, so they have to prioritize the areas that are the worst. So having imagery of this caliber allows them to find those things quickly and to throw attention to them and fix the things that are most damaged more quickly. And again, think about that disaster response imagery too. Having imagery that's 1 inch after a storm is really going to show them all the things that that were there before that are not there now, and where they need to focus their first steps of recovery. And then, sorry to beat this over the head here, we got one more. Zooming in on this neighborhood, again, you can see that clarity that they can get from this type of imagery. And that goes for the mosaics as well. Eagleview focuses a lot on the oblique perspective because that's, as pictometry, which many of you may know, that was our former name of our company. That was what it was built off of, was oblique imagery. But just don't forget that we do high resolution orthos as well. When we do these captures, we're getting the top-down perspective as well. And this is great for base maps. If you're a 911 dispatch software, you can use this as a base map. If you're in your CAMA software, you can use this as a base map, or in any Esri application. this is just a great alternative to, freely available satellite imagery that may not be as clean and crisp. But what's great, again, just like that oblique image, as we dive in, you're not losing that fidelity. You're getting that high level of detail. So I can clearly see the condition of this pavement marking without having to go there physically and inspect it, take a picture of it, and then take action on it. All right, so all of that said, let's talk a little bit about why we're telling you all this. Well, again, we understand that you're often asked of, what aerial providers are out there, what are the perks and what are the benefits of each. And again, we can't speak for anyone else. We can only speak for ourselves. So we just want to educate you guys on what we're doing. So we are real excited to, I can't say that we can officially roll this out. When we scheduled this webinar, we had every intention to have this ready and this be the grand unveiling. But as things go, best laid plans, we were not quite there yet. And a lot of it has to do with the legal side of things that we're working through right now. But we can give you a high level overview just so that we can get the thoughts going and have you guys ask questions and potentially even contribute some ideas here. But essentially, we want to reward you for mentioning Eagleview. So the way that it's going to work is that we are going to provide all of our partners with an online web form. And when you guys are talking to any customer, potential, non-Eagleview customer, this is really for net new Eagleview customers. If you were to fill out this form, and we will vet that out based on a variety of things. And I can't go into too much detail right now as to what constitutes a valid lead, but that information will be coming as soon as we roll this out officially. But that'll be tracked, and if this lead is deemed valid, then it will be entered into our sales system, curated by our sales folks that are in the field. And if that lead materializes into a new imagery sale or a subscription to existing imagery that may already be captured, we're going to reward our partners with a certain percentage point for the first project. And I say first project because we oftentimes sign up our customers for multi-year projects. So let's say a county might sign up for 3 flights over 6 years because they only need flights every 2 years and they only have the budget for that much, but they locked in the price over 6 years. If you guys give us a lead that lends into that, we're going to give you 3% off that first project, the very first one, which again, we'll share more details as to what that percentage is going to be and the mechanism in which all the, the minutia, the steps that we'll take to get this going. But essentially, in a nutshell, we're going to give you guys visibility to those leads. So when, let's say you send us 10 leads and 5 are good. Well, every quarter, we're going to report out that here are the 10 you gave us. Here's the 5 that are not valid, and here's why. Here's the 5 that are valid. And if they have a dollar amount attached at that point, we'll tell you how much you can expect to get, and we'll pay those out on a quarterly basis. So this could be, something that could be passed down to your sales folks. There's a lot of ways that you could handle that on your end to incentivize your teams. But we're going to have a lot more information coming soon, and we're looking to have this available. We're saying summer 2025. We have every intention to get this out by the end of June, but you know how things can go. We could be delayed. We could be pushed back a little bit. So we're giving ourselves a wide berth here and saying summer 25. And this is going to also require an additional language that we're going to have just for the legal side of things to, make it official. And you'll sign off on this simple legal form. And we hope to one day incorporate that into our biannual partnership agreements so that you're not having to manage, or sign 2 different contracts. It'll all be consolidated into one. But those are some of the things that we're discussing right now with our legal team. So hopefully that's an exciting program. By the way, that logo in the upper right is not official. That is seriously me going into ChatGPT, typing in, hey, what would an Eagleview partner or referral program look like? And that was the first thing that came out. And I was like, that's actually pretty good for ChatGPT. And it's got the E and the V and the handshake. So I don't think we're going to be able to use that. I'm sure there's rules around that. But I thought that was kind of fun that we were able to pull that out. Another exciting thing, and this kind of, again, bleeds into that referral program, is that we're starting to roll out what we call a programmatic capture. So what does that mean? Historically, all of our government contracts were on what we call bespoke. And what that means is custom. So a county would say, we want you to fly these, this county, this region, this many times over a span at this resolution, and these all derivative products. We very customize them to what they need. Now, that, just to be clear, that is not going away. There are other aerial providers out there that strictly fly when they want to fly, and they make their imagery available to anyone who wants to subscribe to it. We're kind of doing a combination of that idea. We're still going to honor the contracts that come through that specifically define all the aspects of a flight. But then we're also going to be increasing the amount of flying that we're going to be doing around areas that are, important to us. So imagine, I always like to use the idea of New England, because for anyone who works in New England, you know that there's really no county structure, and all the towns have an average square mile of about 20 square miles. So let's say that Boston was a customer of ours, and that we were going to commit to fly Boston every year. Well, we're not just going to fly the small, actual municipality of Boston. We're going to fly the whole metro area around Boston and commit to doing that at least once a year. So if I am somebody who works in New England and I have a lot of customers up there, when we get to this point, and we'll share with you, hey, in 2025 or 2026, here are the areas of the country that we're going to fly on our own. And then you guys are armed with that information. If you just happen to mention it, again, we're not asking you to go in and do a big sales pitch. We're just saying, hey, by the way, Eagleview is capturing imagery in your area. You should go talk to them. And as long as you file that lead with us, that'll get tracked. And if that sale ends up being a good, going to fruition, then you guys will get paid on that. So this is kind of an exciting thing, because we're kind of combining our historical way of contracting with customers, but adding this additional mechanism called programmatic capture to get more and more coverage over, especially areas that are of high value to us. And so this is kind of an exciting thing. There's going to be more and more information to come out about this. We are technically rolling this out, but it's going to be a little bit more, we're going to communicate it better with our partners as time goes on. So Brianna and I intend to have another webinar later in the year, so maybe in the October, November timeframe. And I have a feeling that at that time, we're going to have a lot more information to share about where we're flying, how we're going to communicate this information, and any other new updates that come along with that. So kind of an exciting thing. And a lot of this is all due to this new sensor technology that we have that allows us to honor all the contracts that we have today, plus add on additional AOIs of regions that we can capture. So pretty exciting stuff that we're working on right now. Okay, and then finally, before we get to Q&A, we're going to have Brianna talk a little bit about the partnership agreement that is brand new and some of the perks that are going to come along with that.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So along with all of our platform updates and new software that we've rolled out, Joe and I have worked on updating our partner agreement as well. And this includes some of those new product offerings. Much of the language is the same as the existing partner agreement, and it's still on 2-year terms at zero cost. But we did try to clean up the language to streamline the review process for you all. And as a added benefit, this agreement also includes language for an automated renewal process. So 2 years down the road, when it's up for renewal, if we do not need to alter anything or amend it, we can just sign off and verbally confirm that both parties are good to go, and we can renew this existing partner agreement without having to initiate a new one and go through the whole legal process again. Hopefully that will streamline it, have to eliminate a lot of the back and forth, which will be nice. And with this new partner agreement, we also are asking you to supply us with some AOIs that you regularly demo. So it can be up to 5 areas, say it's a county or a city. If we have imagery for that area, we will apply that to all of your keys and your image service links that you are given for your dev test and demo. And we can easily swap those out too. So say you have an upcoming conference or an upcoming presentation that you'd like a specific data set, just let us know and we can easily update that. And lastly, as you can see on here, some of those new products are going to be included. So E3, eventually we will also have the Esri Experience Builder that's just about ready to be released. And then we can also provide you that dedicated image service for orthomosaics as well to add to your demo environments or dev environments.
Great.
And a lot of you probably already have this agreement in your hands, but if you don't, please let us know because we can get this rolled out to you and updated.
Great, thank you. Yeah, that's just kind of add on to that. The image service link is something new as well. You know, we kind of started doing this with a few partners years ago just to give you guys more data to use in demos and also to test compatibility of our image service where we host the orthos and we can serve them out to our customers. It's obviously good for you guys to know whether or not you're compatible with that WMTS service that we provide. But also it's going to give you something so that when you're in a trade show, instead of showing satellite imagery, you can show 1-inch resolution imagery over if we have it over a certain area. And that's just hopefully that makes, you know, as you know, we're kind of at a luxury at Eagleview that, you know, clean, crisp imagery is just attractive to look at. It's something exciting that people like gravitate towards. So hopefully that's something that can, like, you know, enhance your demos to some extent. When you show this additional functionality, you can show them how you can bring in this great imagery and then, you know, improve their workflows. So that's something that's going to be included in these agreements here. So before we get to Q&A, just want to reiterate a couple of facts. I don't really have a conclusion slide here, but the main takeaways we want you guys to come away with is the biggest thing is to start planning for this migration over to this new API. We don't want any of our partners to be in a position where, you know, it's now March of 26 and we haven't even contemplated this, and now it's going to be, you know, until March 27 until we have the new API available. Although that is your own prerogative, we all know our customers are they know what they want, and especially if they've had something for a while, if that goes away for a period of time, that could cause customer satisfaction issues both for us and for you guys. So it's just going to be good for everyone to just keep that in mind as we go along. We're going to continue to push this theme over the next couple of, over the rest of this year and into next year. We've been putting out these quarterly partner newsletters. You're going to see that pretty consistently. So apologize in advance that we're going to beat you over the head with it, but it is important that we make sure that everyone's aware of this and that nobody's, you know, caught in a position where we just can't get it done before the turnoff date. So that's really the biggest takeaway we want. Secondly, remember that, you know, we're really up in the game of resolution and where we're flying and the enhanced use cases that it can bring, so that as you guys are talking with some of your customers, and if, again, we don't expect you to go into every demo and say, hey, did you hear about this? Many of you may be very reactionary about that, and that's fine. You know, as customers are talking to you and they express needs for imagery or analytics that come from imagery, just keep us in mind, and we'll have this referral program in place to reward you guys for doing that work. And the last thing I'll say before we open up to Q&A is I just want to express my sincere gratitude for all of you. I and Brianna are extremely proud of this network of partners that we have. We have some amazing people out there. We love seeing everyone at conferences. We love working with you and having these meetings. And it really it's meaningful that you all have dedicated, you know, to put our APIs and our integrations in your software. And it just means a lot to us. So I want to say thank you for all your support. And as you know, we're always around, and if you guys have questions that come up, we'd be certainly happy to help you out, and also enter into, you know, if there's any marketing that you want to do and promote these integrations. We're always open for those things, case studies, you know, collaborations at trade shows, collaborations in sales demos. We have a great team over here, and we're very passionate about our partners, and so I'll just stop blabbering and I'll say that. So. But yeah, let's, I don't know, Tim, if we have any questions in the chat, or if anybody wants to unmute, we can do that, or certainly have just a little bit of time left here to answer some questions.
Yeah, there's some questions coming into the chat, but I want to go to the first one that I saw that's actually in the Q&A. It's from Elizabeth Kibler. Is the Experience Builder /Viewer available to demo?
So that is coming very soon. That is on the cusp of release. That will be available, I want to say, in May. One of the reasons that the delay has happened, it's actually done. The thing is actually done. One thing we did not touch on in this webinar, which we plan to do in future webinars, is we're going to eventually have a new method for our customers to access the API keys. Any of you that have worked with our APIs know that our customers need unique keys to turn them on. So historically, they've had to come to our support team and make the request, and those get delivered. But we're going to have a brand new customer credential manager that is going to allow our customers to go directly to an automated system, select the list of the vendor that they're working with, because we have a list of all of our partners. They're going to be able to choose that partner, choose the API that they're working with, and it'll spit out keys that they can then pass on to you or potentially apply themselves. So long story short, we're trying to release this credential manager and the Experience Builder API at the same time. Experience Builder has been done. Credential Manager still needs a little bit of work, so it just keeps getting kind of pushed down the road a little bit. But we certainly anticipate that to be in May. And as Brianna mentioned, that is a licensable API that we can add to your partnership agreement, so that you can, if you're using Esri's Experience Builder to deploy your applications, then we'll be able to have an oblique integration there.
Cool, thanks. All right, next question comes from Chris Seeger. Any plans on an E3 technical workshop for developers? We've reviewed documentation, but some collaboration would help us to move towards the summer 26 goals.
Interesting. Chris, that's a great suggestion. No, we have not thought about that. Yeah, I would love to do that. I'm a big fan of collaboration and getting ideas spread amongst people who've already built it, or, if we notice a common theme of like, hey, this feature is missing and would be really great if we had this. Yeah, let me talk. So we have our product manager named Matt Paul, who many of you may have been in touch with or met over the years. Let me bring that idea to Matt, and I think that's a great idea. So let's, we'll certainly be in touch about that. Thank you for that suggestion, Chris.
Yeah, and Anna Hazelwood, I see Anna is on the call. So Anna, if you may be able to take a note on that for us, and then we can add it to the transition plan as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Mahmoud Abdulhadi asks, are there any updates on Eagleview's roadmap to fully support 3D plotting and 3D dynamic markers? I'm not sure if this might be related to what Brianna, you talked about, how 3D hosted is now available in E3, but if this is something different, I can.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know the person. I know why they asked the question. Yeah.
Okay.
So what it has to do is with our Z-value mapping, the ability to visualize where that call is from. This is mainly in the public safety or 911 sector, to show, because right now it's basically plotting a single point on an image, where other applications will have what we call like a cylinder, or like you may have heard the term cone of uncertainty. That somewhere is in this circle is where this caller is likely. But when you get into that oblique perspective and you talk about Z, now you're in a 3-dimensional. So we have what's called a cylinder of uncertainty. So it's like, this call is probably on the 5th floor, but it could be on the 6th floor, it could be on the 4th floor, and around this radius. So yeah, that is, I know that's been a need. I have not heard an update yet. I know that is something that is in our backlog that we do want to get to. I just don't know where we are with that, and I apologize that I don't have a timeline for you. And I know we've talked about this before. So let's follow up with Matt. I'm going to make sure that they know that you asked this, and I think that is a critical part of this rollout, is making sure that that functionality is there, because that's going to drive that adoption of that feature. So thanks for bringing that up again, and let me follow up and we'll get back to you on that.
Cool, thanks. Okay, question from Mike Gerhold. When do you plan to offer Eagleview Cloud versus Connect Explorer to customers who buy your imagery, or is this already available to them? So this might be an opportunity to talk about the migration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is already available, Mike. It's a slow roll. We're not going to think about how Esri's rolled out Arc Pro versus Arc Map, right? That's like a 5-year transition plan, because people get set in their ways of the product that they know really well. And it's going to take some time to get them comfortable with the new software and to migrate over. So that we're kind of taking a similar approach, just not on that scale of 5 years or whatever Esri had done in 6 years. So yes, anybody who's a new customer today, like if they sign on with Eagleview today, they're only getting stuff from our Eagleview Cloud. So they're using our Cloud Explorer browser application. If they want an integration, they're getting our embedded Explorer. We're not giving them the Connect platform. So anybody new is getting that. For all of our existing customers, that's going to be a migration over the next year and a half. And we have teams in place that are putting together plans to make sure that all of our customers can get migrated over before that June 26th timeframe or summer 26 timeframe. And as Brianna touched on earlier, that's not just, hey, look at this new app, let's sign in here. It's also, making sure all their GIS layers that they've associated with our Connect platform are also available in our cloud platform. It's making sure that the APIs that they have with you folks are up to par. And one thing I'll bring up with this, and thanks for bringing this up, Mike, is that if there is a situation where our brand new customer we sign up tomorrow is on our cloud contract, but you guys still have our old IPA or gateway or one of our older integrations in your software, we are still going to make those available to our customers. We are not going to deny our customers any integration that you guys may have already built just because they're on a different Eagleview contract, and because we don't expect you to know that they're on this contract or this contract. We're going to continue to support, you guys can continue to support IPA or those older integrations, no matter who the customer is, if you haven't made that transition yet. But obviously with the goal that everyone is at least has that available by summer of next year. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. And with that, I think we've addressed all the questions that have come in through the chat. If you have additional questions that come to mind after this, obviously feel free to shoot Joe and Brianna a note. We'll get back to you. We'll also have a link to this recording, which team should send you a link to this after we end it. But if they don't, ping any of us and we'll get you the recording. But with that, I think we're all set.
Yep, I think so. Brianna, Tim, thank you very much for your help in organizing this. To everyone, again, thank you for spending time with us today. Again, we really value you. We look forward to seeing you at the next conference, and please reach out with any questions. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Bye, everyone.